Okay, good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so let us start. Okay, so let us brush it up once before we move further. Okay, guys, so now, so basically, when we talk about this ADF, that is the Azure Data Factory. Okay, so when we talk about this Azure Data Factory, this is basically a cloud service. It is a cloud service provided by the Microsoft to perform the job of ETL. It is a cloud service to perform the job of what? ETL. That is extraction, transformation, and loading. So this is a cloud service provided by the Microsoft. Whereas the ETL is used for what? The process of data summarization. It is used for the process of what? Data summarization. Okay. So the ETL is nothing but it is used for the process of what? Data summarization. It is used for the process of what? Data summarization. So ETL is nothing but it is used for the process of what? Data summarization. Wherein for the process of ETL, we require basically two things. What is that? The first thing we require it as the source. And then we require it as a target. So between the source and the target, we perform the job of what? ETL. We perform the job of what? ETL. Between the source and the target, we perform the job of what? ETL. Using this, we perform using it by we perform the ETL by using what is it? ADF. That is called as Azure Data Factory. Okay, guys. So now, before we move ahead, so when we talk about the storages in Azure, the storages in Azure, the storages in Azure, we have the following storages. Following storages. We have the following storages in Azure. We have the following storages in Azure. We have the following storages in Azure to store the data. To store the data. That is, what is that? So whenever we have, can you see here, when we talk about the source here, so when we talk about the source will receive the data from what? Ultimately the business, whatever it will be the business. So business will pass on the data to the source. Okay. So that is nothing but business we have it. Suppose we say some, okay, banking application is one of a, banking is one of the business. So the banking application generates the data. So this data will be forwarded, or this data will be processed to the source, or this will become your source. So from here, what is it you have it? You have to pick up the data from the source, and now after that we require to store the data into the Azure storages. Into what is that? Azure storages. So without storing the data into the Azure storages, we cannot use the ETL or the ADF in Azure. Okay. So we require to store the data. So for that, we use what is that? The following Azure storages. The first one is the Azure blob storage. And the second one is what is it? You have it? Azure data lake Gen 2. And the third one, Azure data lake Gen 1. Anyways, the Gen 1 is going to retire. The Gen 1 is going to retire in 2024. So hence the whole data is being migrated to the, hence the whole data is migrated. Hence the whole data is migrated to the Gen 2. Okay. So now the Azure recommends to migrate it to the Gen 2. Okay. Rather than having it on the Gen 1. Okay. Uh,
Sir, ADB is also one of the storage.
no, ADB is a separate service.
But that is also one database, right?
Yeah, the Databricks has, but these are all used even in the ADB. These are all storages. The storages are common even in the ADB also. That's not basically a database. The ADB is a storage, you can say. It's also, sorry, the ADB is a service, you can say. Under this, all these are supported. Whether you go with the ADF or ADB or Synapse or any other thing, all these are, all can see it, all these are supported here. What is that? Azure data blob storage is used by the ADF and ADB both. Okay. And then you have the Azure data like Gen 2. So anyways, the Gen 1 is retired. So now it's going to retire. So hence it's not allowing you to create the Gen 1 services. You have only the Gen 2 services available right now. And then you have the next one as what? Azure SQL database. Azure SQL database. You have another one. What is that? Azure SQL database. Okay. So apart from this, even you can have what is that? Azure Synapse. Okay, Azure Synapse Analytics. Then you have what? Azure Synapse Analytics. Then you have Azure Cosmos DB, etc. So likewise, you have okay, likewise, you have 90 plus storages are there. These are called as what? Storages in Azure. These storages are common storages in Azure. These storages in common for Azure. And what are the services we have it? All of them can use it. All of them can use this. Okay. 90 plus storages, whatever you have it. All of them can use this particular storages, whatever it may be. Then apart from this, once we are done with the storages, we have to like, let's discuss here. Already we have discussed it, but I want to just brush it up. So we talk about the ADF. Now the ADF starts. So the when it comes to the ADF, we can say ADF. What is that? We have it ADF. So in ADF, we have the following. What is that? In ADF, we have what is that? Components in Azure. Components in Azure. What is that? Components in Azure. Components in Azure. Okay. Components in Azure. So These are the components which are very essential to use in Azure. Okay, these are very much essential. Okay, these are very much essential, and without that we cannot use the ADF. The first component is called as a pipeline, and the second one is called as what? Linked service, and the third one is called as what? Data sets, and the fourth one is called as pipeline linked service data sets. Then we have what is that? Triggers. Then we have data flows. And the sixth one is integration runtime. And the seventh one. Okay. So pipeline link service data sets, triggers, activities. These are the 7 components which is mandatorily required for us. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so we have what is it? These are the all 7 components. So if you know the 7 components, then you know the ADF, which is very much essential. So these are the components. So guys, let us start. I already discussed it, but I wanted to just brush it up once before we move further. So guys, here you have a source. Source means what? The source can be anything. I can have the data in the type of files. In the files, I can have the data. Then I can have the data in the databases. Everyone following? Hello? Yes, guys, I want a reply.
Yes,
Okay. What about rest of you? Ram and Satish?
yes,
Okay, so now we have file. So what we do is we get the data here. So first of all, from the source, these are called as the sources of data. From these sources only we get the data. Okay. So what we do is once we get the data, here we store into the Azure storages. Azure storages. Okay, Azure storages. We store the data into what? Azure storages. So here we store the data in the Azure storages, whether it is whatever the type of thing we have it. So we store the data into what's that? Azure storages. So it can be the Azure blob storage, or it can be Azure Data Lake Gen 1, Azure Data Lake Gen 2, whatever you have it, the data will be stored here. Okay. So in the Azure storages. From the using the Azure storages, so from the Azure storages, the data will be accessed by ADF. What is that? ADF. Further, once the data is accessed by the ADF, the data, further what happens? The ADF performs the job of what? ETL. That is called as what? Extraction, transformation, and loading. And once this extraction, transformation, and loading is done, once this extraction, transformation, and loading is done, once the extraction, transformation, and loading, once the extraction, transformation, and loading is done, Once the extraction, transformation, and loading is done, okay, what happens? Finally, the data will be kept into the what is that? The curated layer, or we can say, okay, the curated layer or the destination, that is called as the synapse. Synapse is nothing but this is called as the Azure data warehouse. Azure data warehouse. Okay. This is called as what? Azure Synapse data warehouse. Or we can also say, now at this point of time, we can also say it is a target. The target. So now guys, the story starts from here. We pull in the data from the Azure storages. And now guys, to link the Azure storages and the ADF, there will be no relationship with the ADF. So we can use it either the ADF or we can use the ADB. Anything we can use it. Getting my point? So now we have to let the system know that just as I told you that these storages are common. That means anyone can use this. Whether it can be used by the ADF developer or it can be used by the ADB developer. Anyone can use it. But whenever you wanted to use these storages for the ADF or for the ADB, we require to see the one more thing. What is that? We require to use a link services. We require to use what is that? Link services. Link services is nothing but called as what? Connection string. Link services is nothing but what? Connection string. So connection string is nothing but whenever you wanted to call someone, you require to dial the number or not. Hello? Yes, guys, tell me now. Whenever you require to whenever you require to call somebody, you require to dial or not.
Yes.
So dialing means your number will be different or my number will be different. Every time that is the connection string will be different or not. Yeah.
Yes.
Suppose I wanted to dial person A and person B. Do I require two phone numbers or not?
Yes.
So in the same way here also we require to create two link services for every process, because can you see here to create there is synapse to connect the synapse with the ADF, guys, to connect the synapse with the ADF, to connect the Azure storage with what is that? The ADF, we require link service. So here we use every process require two link services based on the storages. Link service one, which is nothing but Azure storages to ADF, link service 2 with Azure storages with the ADF. Getting my point? These are the two link services we require. Azure storages, two link service. So link service are nothing but connection string, dialing string, we can say. Okay. So whereas the link service is the connection string between the storage and the ADF. Azure store, that is nothing but connection string is a link, it's a dialing string or it's a connecting string between the synapse and the ADF, whatever you have it here. So this is how we can use it. And when you come to the data set means what? Can you see here? Here you have a data. The data is where? The data is where? The data is in the storages. In the storages, you will have the data. To this storages, we have to create a pointer. Pointer means what? You have to create, you have to map, tell ADF that, you have to tell ADF that this particular data is available in the storage. This particular data is available in the storage. You have to show it to the ADF. So for that, we use the data set. So in other words, right now for your understanding, you can say that data set is a table. Data set is a table. The table is the collection of what, guys? Rows and columns. Am I right or not?
Yes.
So now we can say the data set is a table, which is the collection of table rows and columns. So this is how we can have the data set. That's it. Okay. Then we have what? Triggers. Triggers are nothing but to start the process. To call that you can see here. We want what is that? We want this table to be sent to the synapse, that is into the final layer. So whenever you want to send this entire data to the synapse, that is to the final layer, we require what? We require to start it. Suppose guys, you wanted to go somewhere. You have reached your vehicle. Now, once you reach your vehicle, you require to start your vehicle or not? Do you require to start your vehicle or not?
Yes.
Or without starting, you can reach the destination? No, no. So you require to start the vehicle. So now, whereas the trigger is just like starting up. To start the pipeline, to start the pipeline, to start the pipeline, to start the pipeline, to kickstart the pipeline automatically. So at a given time, that means I want to start this pipeline at morning 6 a.m. So automatically, whether you are there or not, the pipeline will kickstart. The pipeline will kickstart automatically. The pipeline will kickstart automatically without the human intervention. Getting my point? Without the human intervention, the pipeline will kickstart. So the pipeline is nothing but the automated method. Pipeline is nothing but what? It is an automated method. Guys, the pipeline is the automated method. It's an automated method. It is an automated method to run a pipeline. The pipeline will start from here. Can you see it? From the link service, the pipeline will start here. That means the components only, no? Pipeline. And it will end here. That means this whole thing is called as what? Pipeline only. This whole thing is called as what? Pipeline only. Getting my point? Starting from here, ending till here. This whole thing is called as what? Pipeline only. So guys, what side do we have it? Pipeline, link service, and next one, what is that you have it? Data set. These three things and triggers is clear for everyone. Am I right or not? Hello?
Yes.
And the next one, what is that you have it? Data flows. So what do you mean data flows? Ultimately, we call it as transformation. Extraction, transformation. Transformation means what? The type of transformation you wanted to perform. That means the type of activity, the type of action you wanted to perform. That is called the transformation. So transformations in ADF. Transformations in ADF is called as what? Data flows. Transformations in ADF is called as what? Data flows. Transformations in ADF are called as what? Data flows. That's it. Okay. Now, guys, activities. Activities are nothing but what? Action you wanted to perform. Action you wanted to perform. Okay. Action you wanted to perform. See, there is a difference between data flows and activities. That is, data flows are nothing but what type of transforming, changing the structure. Transform means what? Changing the structure. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Changing the structure. Changing the structure. So that means suppose you have a raw vegetable is there. Getting my point, everyone. Raw vegetables is there. You have chopped them, cut it properly, you have cut it, chopped it. But to eat it, what we need to do?
Need to cook.
Very good. So when we cook, that means we are changing the form of the vegetables. Am I right or not? From the raw form, I'm changing it to what? Cooked form. Am I right or not? From the raw form, I'm changing it to what? Cooked form. Okay. From the raw form, I'm changing it to what? Cooked form. So now, so whereas this is called as, consider, from raw form to cooked form, I'm changing it. Hence, this is called as what? Transforming. Transforming. Whereas cooking is what? Cooking is what? Cooking is an activity. Am I right or not? Cooking is an activity. Getting my point? Cooking is an activity. That is, cooking is the action which changes that raw form to what is that? Cooked form. Am I right or not? So to change it from the raw form to the cooked form, so raw form to the cooked form is called as what? Transformation. Whereas ultimately cooking is called as what? Activity. That is called as the action you wanted to perform on the data. Action you wanted to perform on the data. Getting my point, everyone? Action you wanted to perform on the data is called as what? Activities. Are you there? Yes, guys. I want an answer, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So in data flows, we use transformations like joiner, filter, and all, right?
Very good. Very good. Yes, exactly.
What about activities means action
If
What
then
else?
else, using if then else statement, using the that is do until, do while, using the copy, okay, using the copy, etc. Stored procedure, application of stored procedure, all these things we apply using it. Okay, next. After that, finally, we have what is that? Integration runtime. So integration runtime is what? Integration runtime is what? Guys, integration runtime is nothing but what is that? Integration runtime is nothing but integration runtime. So guys, suppose you have it. I have here, let us say, let us say what is that you have it. The data here is in the let us say, if the data is here, suppose this is my source now. Suppose if you have the data in Azure storages, that means the data Azure storage, you have the data in Azure storages. That means what? Your data is in which environment? Cloud environment. Am I right or not? The data in which environment? Cloud environment. Am I right or not? Your data is in the cloud environment. Suppose here you have the data on my desktop. That means what type of data right now? On-premises. It is called as what? On-premises. So whenever I have the data in the on-premises system, whenever I have the data on the on-premises system, from the on-premises, if at all you wanted to copy the data to the cloud, that is called as Azure. That is called as Azure. So here, can you see here? It is called as what? It is called as what? This type of thing is called as what? On-premises to cloud transfer. Suppose here you have Azure. Suppose here you have Azure, and from the Azure you wanted to transfer the data to the Amazon, or else here you have a data GCP, Google Cloud Platform. From here you wanted to transfer the data to the Azure. From here you wanted to transfer the data to the Azure. Now tell me, as you wanted to transfer the data to the Azure, okay, as you wanted to transfer the data to the Azure, okay. So now tell me what type of transfer it is? Cloud to cloud transfer. The first two are called as what? Cloud to cloud transfer. Am I right, everyone? The first one is called as what? Cloud to cloud transfer. In the same way, if I have the source, if I have the source here, suppose in the same way, if I have a source here, source is Azure, and the target is also Azure. The source is Azure and the target is also Azure. Then this is called as what? Cloud to cloud transfer. In the above three situation, it is called as what? Cloud to cloud transfer. You need not worry about this. So whenever you have the data, cloud to cloud transfer. Whenever you have the data, what is it? Cloud to cloud transfer. Whenever you have the data called what? Cloud to cloud transfer. Cloud to cloud transfer. Whenever you have to perform the cloud to cloud transfer, automatically, okay, what is that you have it? Integration runtime is created. Integration runtime is created by the Azure only. That is called as what? That is called as what? Azure IR. That is called as what? Azure IR. That is called as what? Azure IR. So this is the integration runtime automatically created. That is called as what? Azure IR. That is called as what? Azure IR. There will be no further this thing. Azure IR is created automatically. Azure IR is created automatically. Okay. The next one is, suppose if you have on-premises to Azure transfer, that means this is called as what? Yes, it is called as what? On-premises system to cloud transfer. On-premises system to what? Cloud transfer. So whenever you have the on-premises to cloud transfer, here this is not supported. Azure IR is not supported. We have to create a self-hosted IR manually. That is called as what? That is called as what? Self-hosted IR. That is called as what? Self-hosted IR. We have to use what's that? self-hosted IR, which we call it as what? Self-hosted IR means what? Self-hosted IR integration runtime is automatically create, or we have to create a self-hosted IR manually whenever the data transfer is between on-premises system and a cloud system. On-premises system and what is that? Cloud system. Suppose I have an Oracle database on my desktop. I have what is that? Oracle database. Oracle software is installed in my PC. From this Oracle, I wanted to transfer the data to Azure cloud. Then this type of transfer is called as what, guys? On-premises to Azure cloud transfer. So hence, the self-hosted IR has to be prepared here. We have to create it. Okay. So, but this is created by default. You did not create it every time. This is created by default. Okay. Only Azure IR is created by default. Okay. Getting my point, everyone?
Yes.
Following now. So that's it. The next one. Sorry. And now the next one, guys. What should we have it? Azure IR, we have done it. So now next, after this, you have another one called SSIS, SSIS IR. See, basically SSIS IR is nothing but it is used where to run the patches, Suppose what are the ETL tools we use it generally on the on-premises system? Hello. On the on-premises system, what are the ETL tools we use it?
Informatica data stage.
Very good. Informatica, data stage. Yes, these are all the things we use it. Whereas, can you see here? Whereas, if some code is already written in Informatica, very big code is it. So you wanted to run that. You wanted to run that code. Okay. You wanted to run that code. You wanted to run that code into what? Into Azure. Into what is that? Azure, you want to run that. At that time, we require to run a patch. So for running that patch, we need to use what is that? SSISIR. SSISIR. Okay. What is that? SQL Server. Okay. What is that? We require to use what is that? SSISIR. Okay. SSISIR. Okay. We require to use what is that? SSISIR. Okay. That is called as what? So that is nothing but SSIS integration runtime. We have to run the patches. We have to run what is that? We have to run the patches. We have to run what is it? Patches. We have to run the patches here. Okay. So patches is nothing but what is that? Yes, guys. Patches is nothing but what is that? Yes, which is actually called as SQL Server Integration Services. What it is called as? SQL Server Integration Services. It is called as what? SSIS means what? SQL Server Integration Services. SQL Server Integration Services. That is the full form of SSISIR. Okay. So here what we require to do is simply this SSISIR will run a patch. Already that patch is written in Informatica, or it is written in the data stage. Okay. Simply we run this onto the cloud environment, and automatically the same thing is compiled off and it is created. Getting my point? So this is nothing but SSISIR. So here also we have to create it manually. This is not auto created. Only one IR is created automatically. Only one IR is created automatically. Okay, only one IR is created automatically. That is called as what? Azure IR. That is called as what? Azure IR is created automatically. The rest of all you have to create it manually. Clear, everyone? Yes, guys.
Yes.
So these are, please.
What scheduling tool ADF will use?
Scheduling for what?
Scheduling the jobs, ADF jobs.
Triggers.
Like control M, it is there.
Yes,
right?
yes. Likewise, yeah. Yes, we will come to that. Don't worry. I got it. I got your point. Okay. Yes. Okay. So anyways, these are all the basic things we have it. So all of you clear now? So if you people are clear, then we'll move further. Okay, guys. So now once you have done with this, so let's start up again here. Okay. So guys, so next one is we will start up with the case study. So the case study here is the all of you case study. Okay. So I can tell you the title of the case study. Title of the case study. Copy data from Azure blob storage to Azure data lake Gen 2. Azure blob storage to Azure data lake Gen 2. Getting point? Copy data from Azure blob storage to Azure data lake Gen 2. This is the thing we have it. Okay. So, okay. So this is the case study. You have it. Okay. So guys, copy data from Azure blob storage to Azure data lake Gen 2. So now for this, the first step, I'm just giving you the steps here, or I can say the specifications. For your clarity, I can say specifications. So what are the specifications? You have it. The specifications are source data store. According to the case study, the source data store is the Azure blob storage. And now, guys, I wanted to copy a file, a single file I want to copy. Any file you can use it. Okay, I am using something airlines.csv. Sync a data store. Azure data lake Gen 2. Finally, got it. Azure data lake Gen 2. So these are the things you have got it. Azure data lake Gen 2. So here we have it. These are the specifications of the day. So we can have this as one specifications. So based on the specifications only, we will move further. Clear, everyone? Yes, guys.
Yes.
So now, so what is that you have it? I'll write it down the steps here. Totally, you will have a 9 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8, step 9. These are the 9 steps you will have it. So based on this only, you will move further. First one is what? The step 1, create, guys, everyone, create resource group. The second step, create storage account source. Step 3, create storage account sync. Step 4, create link services. Then, okay, or else you can say create data factory. create a data factory service. And then afterwards, create linked service. Then the sixth step, create a linked service. The next one, what is it? You have to create link service. Then afterwards, create the what's it? Data sets. Okay. Then afterwards, step 7, create the data sets. So choose the activity. Choose the activity. Choose the activity. Then afterwards, choose the activity. Choose the activity. Then afterwards, the 8th step. Okay. Define source and target. Define the source and target properties. That's it. And finally, guys, finally, debug. Debug. What is it? Debug. Finally, use what? Debug. Finally, use it as what? Debug or trigger. Anything you can use it. Debug is a manually you have to run it. Trigger is automatically. That means it is just like setting an alarm in your mobile phone. Once you set an alarm in your mobile phone, it will ring automatically without the human intervention. Am I right? Without the human intervention, it will run. That is, it will ring. So in the same way, here also we will have the triggers as a that is automated method, and debug is a manual method which you have to run it manually. That's okay, guys. Everyone is clear with this? Hello.
Yes.
So these are the things you have it. Okay, that's it. Okay. So the practicals of this we'll see tomorrow. So from tomorrow onwards, the routine thing will start up. Okay. And there will be no further changes even in the time also. You can have the same time. Okay. So
Thanks.
thank you. Bye bye. Okay. Sure. I'm stopping the class. Thank you.